Live from JMT Studios, Gary Seisel and Adam Buckingham are the Two Jersey Kids.
Hey guys, welcome back to Two Jersey Kids, episode 4. We made it to episode 4, Gary. Are you excited?
Yeah, very. I'm pumped to be here. Episode 4. Hell yeah.
Well, I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside the person you just heard, Gary Seisel. How have you been doing, Gary?
Dynamite. This week's actually been pretty solid. The weather's been nice. It's a fall, cool breeze outside. I'm digging every second of it.
Well, we don't care about the weather. What have you been doing in gaming, G?
Gaming has been a little bit of a drought, admittedly. Not a lot of games I'm really interested in playing right now, but Destiny DLC around the corner. Kind of pumped for it.
I bet you are, and I have no interest. No offense, I'm just not interested. You know?
Actually, I meant to say, too, I have NHL 17 arriving at my doorstep tomorrow, so I'm actually pumped to play that as well.
You can pre-order it on Amazon, or is it already out? It's already out.
Yeah, it's already out. I just ordered it.
If you listen to the video game drop this week that we had, released on Tuesday, you would know that it was released on Tuesday.
The more you know.
The more you know. This is the part where I wait for Gary to finally remember to ask me what I've been doing.
Oh. Adam, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Oh, God. My phone's going off. This is what happens. Live podcasting. I gotta put it on silent. Give me 1 second, Gary. Phil.
Well, here we are again. Adam has apparently stepped away from the old recording chair.
I'm back.
So, what's been in your gaming lineup this week here?
Well, recently I've been playing, I posted a picture, I've been playing Oceanhorn on the PS4. It's a nice little small indie game that was originally released on the PC. I think it was originally kickstarted, actually. And they're coming out with, I just said actually a bunch, but they're coming out with Oceanhorn 2 eventually. But the one was just released on PS4. It's kind of like it feels a little Zelda-ish. Obviously, it's more lower, I don't want to say lower quality, but just because it's an indie dev. So they don't have the gigantic development team that, Nintendo has to make the game. But it's very good. You're traveling to different islands. You have bombs. You have a shield and a sword. It's kind of like Zelda, except for the map is more isometric and it's like blocky. And there's smaller maps, so you gotta explore, open up areas, find one thing to go to open up a different area on a different map. It's pretty good so far. I may do a new review once I finish it. And also, I just recently realized I haven't played Hotline Miami 2 yet. I've always wanted to because I loved Hotline Miami 1, and I just downloaded it to my Vita to play whenever I feel like it, which may be soon, maybe in a few days. I'm pumped. You ever play Hotline Miami? It's fantastic.
I can't say I have. I am a Vita guy, but you know the idea.
Well, it's on. You can get it on the computer, PC. Computer. Who
my PC is so average, though.
But you can get it on PS4. I don't know if it's released on Xbox One, but it's really cool. Great soundtrack, interesting story. It's like top down. It's kind of like arcadey because you're trying to run through. I think you're some sort of assassin. The story is a little confusing. I haven't really. It's been a while since I've played it, so I don't exactly know what the story is anymore. So we'll see how Hotline Miami 2 goes. But it's top-down perspective, kind of like the old GTA games, and you just go into a house or something or some building, and you're trying to kill all the henchmen at like rapid pace. You're top-down like shooting, and then you like can hit people with like a baseball bats.
I was just gonna ask if you could kill people with baseball bats. That might be a buy now.
Oh, nice. We got him. And it's not a $60 game, which I always enjoy. It's more, I think, Hotline Miami, the first one's probably, you can get pretty cheap on either PC or PS4. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to playing. I think I'm like 2.5 hours into Oceanhorn, so it may be taking me another few days to beat it if I actually set time to beat it. It was a challenge to get back into it because the gameplay itself, it doesn't feel great, but the exploration and like puzzle kind of solving once I got into it, I had to like talk myself into finally playing it again. But it felt good. But it just feels, gameplay-wise, it doesn't feel too smooth. But I'll look past it with, it's, again, a smaller developed team. Yeah. That's why I'm excited for Hotline Miami 2, because it has solid gameplay. Gameplay is key, in my opinion.
Absolutely, sir.
That's your comment, Gary? That's all you got for me?
Well, I mean, obviously gameplay is key, I guess.
Well, some people are into graphics. Some people are really into the storyline that draws them. But me, I personally, like, if a game, especially a smaller game, if the game feels... That's why I like Hyper Light Drifter. You can catch my review. It was like a few episodes ago. It's like 5 minutes, pretty small, but it feels so good that you just want to get back and play it.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, some people are all about like different things, but I mean, I like the story, but yeah, the gameplay is obviously the most important thing because you got to play the game. So
that was most important back in. Oh, geez, Gary, your mic is freaking out on me right now. Say something.
Technical difficulties.
We're having technical difficulties. Yeah, okay, we can hear you. Live podcasting, folks. We are not cutting that worth a shit, because I'm not good at that. So we're moving on to the topics. You excited for the topics? You looked at the topics?
I have extensively researched each one of these links.
You have extensively researched each one of these links. Okay, well, we'll see. Well, the first topic, unfortunately, the first two topics are going to be on a somber note. They're going to be talking about delays. The first one, The Last Guardian, shocker, gets, parentheses, the last delay. Brian Crescenti over at Polygon writes, The Last Guardian, the long-anticipated, long-delayed PlayStation 4 exclusive, is getting one last delay as developers work to rid the title of bugs in the final stages of development, Sony announced this morning. Previously due out on October 25th, the game is now set to launch on December 6th, wrote Shuhei Yoshida, president of Worldwide Studios, in a blog post today. Quote, The Last Guardian development team is fast approaching major milestones in production and has made the tough decision to delay the release of The Last Guardian a few weeks, he wrote. Long pause because I'm trying to figure out the name. Japanese studios have a wonderful vision for The Last Guardian, touching emotional journey of friendship and trust, and we want to deliver the most polished experience possible for our fans who have supported us for so long. A delay is a difficult decision, particularly with this game, but we have encountered more bugs than anticipated while in the final stages of development. To ensure The Last Guardian delivers on the experience that the game creators have envisioned, we need to take the extra time to work on those issues. Quote, our development continues to push itself to the fullest, and we look forward to revealing new content towards launch. We appreciate your continued support. End quote. In development since 2007, The Last Guardian was first shown off publicly in 2009 as a PlayStation 3 game. In 2015, it was re-unveiled as a PlayStation 4 game with a 2016 release date. Well, it's been delayed for a long time, and it's confusing. It seemed like they pushed it back because they set the firm date that it was going to be released in 2016. They said they were set in stone. It was going to release in 2016, so they pushed it basically far enough back into 2016 December, which is kind of strange because they have one of their only other exclusives launching this fall. Well, actually, it's going to be winter then. Will be Gravity Rush 2. So it's kind of strange they have them right on top of each other. I guess because it'll look like they have egg on their face if they push it now out of the year they said they were going to release it, because this game has been through development hell. And I'm interested to see what exactly has been an issue.
I mean, this is kind of a question, I guess, but I'll answer it at the same time. Isn't it kind of concerning that, I mean, we saw with No Man's Sky, the game got delayed over and over and over again, and you almost wondered if the game was ever actually going to be released. This game's probably obviously different than No Man's Sky, but I think it has to be concerning that this game has suffered so much delay, and makes you wonder now, so close to release, they're going to delay it again and then have to fix, quote unquote bugs, whatever that means. Are you concerned by that? I mean, is this a game that you're looking at personally?
They originally, this is the team that developed Shadow of Colossus and Team Eco, which are considered a pretty damn good game. So I was looking forward to it, but I feel like when it was originally announced on PS3, they just didn't get quite up to their standards. And honestly, if I was Sony, I would have just been like, fuck it, let's just release it, get it over with, because it's not going to be up to par. But now it's been developing for so long, everyone has an idea of what it is. It's never going to live up to any expectations people have. It's never going to quite meet that after how long it's been in development.
So, final question.
Sure.
Would this actually be a buy for you? And are you actually going to go out and buy this now? No, just because of this delay in particular, or the actual, sequence of delays?
I'll wait until conclusions come out from reviewing sites to see what they say, but I have no interest right now. The amazing thing is, I am pretty certain that from the time they started developing this to when it'll eventually be released, I think Naughty Dog, everyone out there that's listening, you can fact check me. I'm pretty certain that Naughty Dog's released Uncharted 1, 2, 3, 4, and The Last of Us in that time frame. Which
I think you're right, yeah.
They need to get their shit together is all I have to say if that happens. Come on, people! God, I hate delays. Well, actually, your game never gets worse from a delay, to be honest. To fix bugs and everything. But
I guess at that point the game is what it is.
It's just frustrating that they pushed it back so far. I just don't understand why people keep making these mistakes. If you're going to announce a date, have a firm date, know that it's going to for sure come out on that date. Don't be so confident and then, have to walk it back now because, bugs came up. Well, did you not figure that bugs would come up beforehand? I don't know. I'm not a developer, but it's frustrating when they set a firm date and they don't come through on it. No? You don't agree? You have nothing?
I think we've
dead silent.
Well, considering we're going to be talking about a South Park delay, I think we could just kind of transition very, very easily into this next topic.
Well, Gary pointed it out for me. The next article is actually again from Polygon. Allegra Frank, South Park: The Fractured Butthole pushed into 2017. South Park: The Fractured Butthole has been delayed. That title gets me every time. Ubisoft announced on its blog the superhero-themed adventure game will now launch sometime in the first quarter of 2017. Quote, the development team wants to make sure the game experience meets the high expectation of fans, and the additional time will help them achieve this goal. End quote, according to the post. A new release date hasn't been pinned down yet. The game was originally set for a December 6th release. So Last Guardian's apparently taking this slot, which the publisher revealed at its year's E3 event. Alongside the launch date came tons of new trailers, gameplay footage for the foul-mouthed, followed up to 2014 South Park: The Stick of Truth. Most recently, the Fractured Butthole made an unforgettable appearance at Gamescom 2016. Now, this one, I am truly upset. Last Guardian, I wasn't going to get it right away. This one, I am so upset. I was so excited for this game. I don't know, did you play the first one, The Stick of Truth? It was fantastic. This is like one of the first video games that made me genuinely laugh so hard.
See, that's the funniest thing. I was just going to say, have there really ever, there's been some, but I feel like all these video games based on like cartoons, whether it's like SpongeBob or Family Guy or whatever, or Simpsons, always suck, no matter what. But it's actually interesting that the first of this series, I guess if you want to call it that, has actually been solid.
Everyone loves The Stick of Truth. I think it was in conversations for Game of the Year. It just, the people that wrote South Park were actually writers for this game, and they wanted to make it perfect, and they didn't realize what it took, obviously, to make a video game, so that's why they had to get it pushed back and went to different publishers. It ended up with Ubisoft, because going into it, they didn't really think of how to map out the town that South Park is in, the show, because they never had to do that until when the video game came around and they had to map it out.
That's actually
So
really
there's
interesting.
there's random things that they didn't think about and they had to add it into. But it was written. The game was amazing. There's so many great just moments in that funny jokes. Here's one thing that just right off the bat I liked. You had to name your character. No matter what you named, Cartman just at the end just called you douchebag or Sir Douche, or I forget exactly. But I'm upset a little bit. But as long as it just makes the game better, polish it up, I'm excited. The combat, it's a change in combat. It's superheroes, which I fucking love. The first one was like kids playing fantasy. So I'm excited for this game, even if it's pushed back. Early 2017. Apparently, early in the year now is where things are at. You get the big blockbuster Call of Duty Battlefields at, November time, and then most of the games, like the ones you're excited for, get pushed back into early next year. So that's when the
excruciating waiting.
Yeah. So how do you feel about delays, Gary? You didn't really give me a big. It didn't sound like you were too firm on anything.
Well,
no outrage.
That's because I don't care about either of those games. However,
fair enough.
I will say that when No Man's Sky was getting delayed constantly, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. Not that I jumped aboard the hype train, but yeah, it's very frustrating. And I didn't mean that in a douchebag way to say I don't care about those games.
You're
but
a fucking douche, man. Just straight douche for saying that. Everyone out there, tweet at him at RealScavenger18. Tell him how much of a douche he is. I really hope we get at least one tweet. Please,
that'd be great marketing.
Get me one tweet at RealScavenger18 that he is a douche. Please. All right, we're moving on to the next topic. I don't know if you know this. Actually, everyone that has a PS4 probably knows this by now because it's out. But PS4 software update 4.0 is out. Have you been experimenting with it, Gary?
I've been looking around. Yeah, I've been looking at it, and there's obviously some differences. Like I've noticed the capture gallery is now reorganized a little bit differently. You have like bigger thumbnails now to see like which videos are which. It shows you like kind of a glimpse into the video from like the dashboard, if you want to call it that. The parties are a little bit different now. Like I saw there was like a party limit. Like you can actually set like a limit on the people allowed in the party, which is interesting.
Well, there's a whole write-up if everyone's out there interested, blog post at PlayStation. But here's you get quick menu to music. I like now that you hit the button and there's a thing on the side that appears, so you can quickly look instead of going back to the whole. I forget what the main menu. I want to say XMB, but that's the PS3. But I forget what it's called. What's it called? The main thing when you open it up. I'm just going to say the dashboard.
Yeah, that's the dashboard.
You have to go back to it and then go to your friends list to search. But now you can go over and you can go to friends, and all your online friends are going to be there. You can then add the community if you're in a community that you're interested in, or like a party that you're in, or your friends that are in a party. So it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. It's pretty. It's still the PSN. So what are you gonna do?
I mean, no, that's a different issue. But I guess the quick menu would probably be one of the best features they added, or if not the best. But other than that, though, like I haven't noticed any like crazy dramatic changes. So I do like the new themes they came out. I'm kind of big on that sort of thing. But
they need to let us fucking change our names, for God's sake.
Oh my God. I've been having the same name since 2007. 2007.
Same, dude.
It's kind of old.
Moving on from that shit show of not being able to change our names to more exciting things, which I'm excited about. I don't know. G's probably not too excited about because he probably didn't play this game, Shovel Knight. But that game, again, another fantastic indie game developed by Yacht Club. It had a great art style to it. Felt like an old-time NES game. It was fantastic. But Wesley Copeland, Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment gets release window. As Yacht Club Games had previously mentioned, Spectre Knight offers a complete different playstyle to that of Shovel Knight. Armed with a scythe, the Spectre Knight can unleash a fast slash against enemies as well as launch a diving attack from the air. what this knight lacks in jump height makes up for the ability to climb walls. It's supposed to be released spring 2017. It's supposed to be a free DLC, which I'm excited about because they released the Plague Knight originally. Another different way to go through the game with a whole different knight, different play style. So it's exciting that they're adding this free stuff to get people to continue playing Shovel Knight. Which, again, if no one's out there, if you're out there and you haven't played Shovel Knight, you need to play it. I'm looking at you, Gary, directly. Play Shovel Knight. It's really good.
I do have one comment about the game itself. Looking at the art style, just from the glimpse I saw of the picture, it's interesting to me that we've come so far, obviously, with the graphics, but people still love that old school style. Mm-hmm. I mean, I personally love it too. I think it looks awesome, but it's just interesting. We move along so far with graphics. Everybody wants to, the nice looking graphics, but at the same time, you like to go back every now and then and look at like an old style game. There's just something about it.
Yeah, for me, it just feels like people put time. It feels like people put more time and artistic effort into a game like that than like CGI looking games. Even though I'm sure they put just as much time to make it look beautiful. I don't know. I'm always been a fan of pixel art and old NES looking style. But it continues, keeping in line with the Plague of Shadows campaign. Both Spectre of Torment and the DLC after that featuring King Knight will be released for free, like I was saying, which is exciting. Also coming alongside each of the two forthcoming campaigns are new modes, Body Swap and Battle Mode. Body Swap lets players change the gender of their character, while Battle Mode, as the name suggests, is a multiplayer PvP game mode. That's actually kind of interesting. I don't know how they're going to make Shovel Knight a PvP game, but we'll see how that comes along. I trust them. They made a fantastic game, so they haven't done anything wrong yet, so I'm excited.
I'm interested to see what kind of niche is developed, considering if they do go to that PvP, which they are, obviously, but it'd be interesting to see the niche that develops around that, because I guarantee it'll be extremely hardcore. It just seems like the type of game.
There's always
extremely hardcore.
Yeah, there's always a niche for everything.
Yeah, that's
everything, no matter what. There's a niche. One article, we're coming to another topic, article written at Business Insider by Ben Gilbert, which I was fascinated by when I first saw this. I was like, we have to talk about it. It's Microsoft accidentally sent an Xbox One to a random guy months before it was announced. He writes, in March 2013, a 25-year-old Miami resident named Gia Lee ordered a new laptop. Nothing fancy, just $400 to $500 notebook. He ordered it from Microsoft's website. When the package arrived a few days later, it looked strange. Quote, the box had a lot of security tape over it, end quote, Lee told Business Insider in a phone interview. Quote, so I was wondering, what is that? I opened it, and it's something I've never seen before, end quote. If it looks familiar to you, perhaps you own an Xbox One. It's white and it's got some crazy disco tape on the left side, but it's an Xbox One, all right. Except when Lee got this Xbox One, there was no Xbox One. It didn't exist yet, as far as the public knew. At the point in time, Microsoft was 2 months from even announcing the Xbox One console, and a whopping 8 months from its public debut. There were leaks about the so-called Project Durango or Cryptos, and it's an open secret that every game console maker is constantly looking at its next 2 or 3 projects. One hacker in Australia even managed to get its hands on the development kit for the Xbox One. But this console, the one with the zebra tape that bears a striking resemblance to Xbox One sold in stores today, is unique in one incredible way. Microsoft sent it by accident to a regular customer, and it happened months before the console was on sale. That's pretty ridiculous.
It makes you wonder. I mean, I'm not entirely sure who's in charge of the Microsoft's delivery, or I don't even know, packaging. But I would assume that somebody would probably be fired over this. For sending out a concept console, I mean, which is obviously fully functional, from what I hear here. Kind of concerning. I don't know.
He continues writing, in an attempt to throw off Microsoft's own employees, he's trying to explain why this happened. The beta versions of the Xbox One were stored in the open in a less than secure part of a Microsoft shipping facility, and that's how one accidentally got shipped to Lee in place of a laptop he ordered, which would have shipped from the same facility. Maybe the wrong shipping label got put on the box with an Xbox One prototype in it. Maybe it was a computer error that switched his laptop order for an Xbox One prototype. Maybe it was something else entirely. Either way, off one went. quote, "It was a pretty good sized box. It was not that big, large, but not that big. It could be right for a computer," end quote, Lee told Business Insider. It arrived on or near March 23rd, 2013, about 2 months before Microsoft's Xbox One announcement in Redmond. They later apparently met up and had a conversation, and Lee gave back the Xbox One, and he got an Xbox 360 in return, and ended up getting his laptop, so all was right in the world. But that
Wait, so he was given the last generation console and the PC?
Yeah.
What kind of present is that? I mean, yeah, he gets the laptop, but you give the guy the last generation? I mean, it's your mistake. I don't know. But he sent it. What I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm not any genius here with how these gaming companies work, but why?
Oh, we got to connect along with it. So huge.
Ooh, yeah.
You know?
Well, what I'm saying is, like, how does the Xbox One end up in that box to begin with? Like, I mean, obviously, yeah, a different label was put on it, but why was it there? I don't know. It's kind of
they were trying
strange
to
situation.
throw off suspicion and basically doing the thing of hiding it in plain sight. So they were hiding it out in the open in a shipping facility, hoping no one went and actually try to actively look at it. Because most of the time, you think more prototype things would be hidden far away and not out in the open for everyone to see.
Makes sense to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you? You were just criticizing it why it was out in the open, weren't you, Gary?
Yes, I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
All right, on to the next one. I'm sure you're excited about this. Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection clamors to PS4 and Xbox One. Timothy Cipollio at Engadget.com writes, "The rumors are true. To make up for a mainline Assassin's Creed skipping this year, Ubisoft is putting the best entries in the series into one package. Again, Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection brings Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and the story's finale, Assassin's Creed Revelations, to PS4 and Xbox One this November 15th. That's all I really need to read. That's Assassin's Creed 2, I love. That's a great game. It built on Assassin's Creed 1. Then Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, again, pretty solid game. Added a little new features of building up your own assassin's cult. Assassin's, what the frick's the right word? Gary, help me out. Assassin's what? Group. Sure, go with group.
I guess guild?
Yeah, guild works better. I wanted to say cult, but cult is not the right word. So guild. Assassin's Creed Revelations, for some reason, I never quite got through it. I bought it out of GameStop, one of those random discs that don't have the cover and it just says the name, and I just never finished it on PS3. So of course, we thought we were getting away this year from an Assassin's Creed. No. Ubisoft says we're going to release a collection, an Ezio collection.
I'm kind of just waiting for, like, every single gaming company to just release all their last-gen games on this console. Like, why have backwards compatibility anymore? Just release a collection of all games. It's getting old. It's getting very old.
That's what they started doing originally. They didn't even release collections. They just released up-res versions of old games and not even releasing new ones.
Or just, I mean, yeah, okay, I'm excited about, like, the BioShock collection. Yeah, I would probably think about trying out this Assassin's Creed collection, but every gaming company now is just following the same model. They just keep piling on these remastered games, and I mean, people are buying them obviously, but it's kind of just money grabbing at this point, especially when you don't have, in Assassin's Creed case, their franchise kind of got fatigued and they haven't really put out a really solid game in a while. So
kind of got fatigued.
Very
Come
fatigued.
on, man.
Exhausted.
Well, I mean, now you're seeing it with the Call of Duty games, Infinite Warfare, trying to sell games. They're releasing COD 4, one of the greatest first-person shooter games of all time, along with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield Bad Company 2, I think.
Yeah, perfect example, really. It's just our current product's not that good, but don't worry. We're actually going to re-release the one that was from, like, 10 years ago. Yeah,
because they can't apparently think of new ideas or try to better the game. Now we just want to make it look prettier. That's all we want to do. We don't want to fix some gameplay issues that are prominent throughout all games. Nah, we just want to make it look prettier. That's all we want, and we just want to get money.
Just keep churning out the same old shit.
I mean, that's how the world goes around, right? Money. I feel like if... Nah, I don't want to... There's a whole rant that I don't want to get into unnecessarily. Moving on. Next, in the whole shitstorm that was Sony's last week, another article came out later in the week that I don't think we got to talk about. Fallout 4 and Skyrim aren't getting mods on PS4. Bethesda points finger right at Sony. Allegra Frank writes at Polygon. Bethesda Studios has given up on its fight to implement mods on the PlayStation 4 version of Fallout 4. The developer announced on its website. It's not just Fallout 4 that is going mod-free on PS4, though. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition will also ship without previously promised mod support on the console. These decisions were not made by Bethesda, according to the Post, but Sony. Quote, after months of discussion with Sony, we regret to say that while we have long been ready to offer mod support on PlayStation 4, Sony has informed us they will not approve user mods the way they should work, where users can do anything they want for either Fallout 4 or Skyrim Special Edition, end quote, wrote the company Bethesda. Bethesda previously announced that it would bring modding to both Xbox One and PS4 versions of these games, but while Xbox One players of Fallout 4 have been altering the wasteland at their leisure for months now, PS4 players have been made to wait impatiently. Just a few weeks ago, the company said that PS4 mods were still, quote, under evaluation, end quote, implying that little movement had been made on getting mod support running on the console. Yet Sony has consistently denied the modding update for Fallout 4 based on factors that Bethesda had not disclosed. Modding is huge for Fallout and Elder Scrolls players, with the community contributing vast numbers of useful and superfluous upgrades on a regular basis. PS4 players, it seems, it will now be left out of the loop for good.
Yeah, extremely disappointing. I mean, half the reason to get a PC and play PC games is to be able to use the mods, because of how much they can change the game and make the game better. And the fact that they're not coming to PS4 is kind of pisses me off a little bit. I was looking forward to playing, obviously, the Skyrim remastered version. You know, after I just ranted about remasters, I'm looking forward to play Skyrim again. But yeah, disappointing that the mods aren't going to be part of it.
Yeah, because mods adds one thing that's annoying. And it sort of, again, hits Sony because Microsoft capitalized on it, saying that there's modding support now for Xbox One for months now for Fallout 4 and will be for Skyrim. I just don't get it, because mods are what, in those types of games, they're what keeps that game selling for years and years, because users can create content they want. I don't know if it's a security issue with allowing people to create their own mods, or Sony not being able to regulate the mods that are being allowed based on, you know, the worry that the random person's going to create a very raunchy mod or something. I don't know, but it just doesn't look good on Sony's part. And Bethesda is large enough to, like, swing its huge wang around saying, point the finger right at Sony, saying, it's not us, it's them. It's them. Yeah. So don't get mad at us. We've been trying. It's all on them.
I was just going to say that, like, the coolest mod... Well, that was priceless. But the best, honestly, the best mod I saw for Skyrim, in my personal opinion, was it turned the climate, I think, into, like, Cyrodiil's climate. So, like, Oblivion. Yeah. I thought that was awesome. Because the snow terrain, and I don't know, it kind of got old after a while. Everything was covered in snow. I kind of like the variety, but yeah.
Let's be real.
I'm butthurt that
snow gets tiring after a while, especially if, like, over half your map is snow. It doesn't make the world look pretty. You need the leaves, you need the color. It's frustrating. It's just all white. Nothing's good with all white. You need blending together. You need blending together of all different colors. And yes, I am also making a political message. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Let's not get into that.
Just kidding. Maybe not. I don't know. But I liked, for me, Oblivion, it had a good clash of different climates, I feel like, in Oblivion. You could go up north to Bruma, I think it was called.
Spot on.
Yeah, nailed it. I normally have crappy memory in just general. I listen to some people like that do like podcasts and stuff, and they just rattle off things that they remember from way back when. I just listened to one podcast where they're talking about previous camping memories. I'm like, I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday. What is this? How do you have such a good memory? What is this? I guess when you have to talk about it, you drudge up previous memories that all of a sudden just come to mind. But yeah, I think Oblivion had a good different variety of climates, where Skyrim, I felt it was more one tone, kind of. It was first wintry, and then it was just a lot of damp greens. I didn't see too much like color.
And gray.
Yeah,
gray escapes and everything like that. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what they were going for, where it's more. I wouldn't say Viking culture, where it's like.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Snowy, hovels. That it's all like a lot of them are run down. I don't know, but. That would have been interesting to see, being able to play those mods on the console, because I don't have a powerful enough computer to run these, games. It's sad to say it, but I don't. I'm always been a console person just because I like to sit on the couch and play. So I'm pretty upset I won't be able to experience those games or those mods on PS4. Maybe I'll get Skyrim for Xbox One just so I can experience it. Because you get those random mods that add some like crazy story that's interesting, like KOTOR, for instance. I know you're a fan of that mod that added everything.
That was actually the first game I ever played that actually had mods. It was actually pretty insane. Some of them were game breaking because they didn't for example, I don't want to drag this on too long, but there was a mod I downloaded one time that added, it was like new missions and a new area to Telos, this is KOTOR 2, by the way, on PC, but added a new area to Telos, which is like the first real planet you visit. And unfortunately, by doing that, later on in the game, there was a character missing from the game that you had to talk to advance the story. And not there. So I got to that point, and I was like, stranded on this planet. My ship crashed, and
couldn't go
game
anywhere.
over.
Well, it happens. God, I remember KOTOR. They should release a KOTOR 3. I'm sure we'll get into it later in the episode.
Yes, we are.
But I remember I think I got KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2 first by accident, because the cover art looks fascinating.
I did the same thing.
And then I tried to play it, and that fucking first level, first portion of it, I could not figure out for the life of me how to get off that godforsaken ship.
Dude, Paragus, that mining colony, that thing, Satan to me back then. But I was like 12, so I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
And now, like, we can fly through it. It's not too difficult. And
I was like a half an hour long mission now.
I used to like KOTOR 1 more, but I know you're a fan of 2 for plethora of reasons.
Yeah, I can get into that actually. Well, I'm not going to get into it. It's too long of a conversation to have.
We seriously need to have just a conversation. I would love to just do a review discussion of KOTOR 1 and 2, just for shits and gigs.
Dude, I could take up a 2-hour slot with that.
People that are subscribed to the podcast, like all 10 of them, are like, huh? KOTOR? Didn't this come out already? What is this?
Hey, if we got a fan out there that likes KOTOR, you tweet me, man. We'll have a discussion about it.
Ask Gary any question about those games. I'm positive he'll answer. I'm positive he'll know.
Yes, I will.
On to the next one. Article written at Kotaku by Brian Ashcraft. Death Stranding has open world and online elements. Hideo Kojima hasn't talked much about the actual gameplay in his upcoming title, Death Stranding, today in Tokyo. He shied a tiny bit of light on what to expect. I don't know if you saw at E3, Hideo Kojima, the mastermind behind Metal Gear Solid, came out at Sony's press conference at E3 and did this random trailer. It was a little weird, but it's Kojima, so it's come to expected. But according to Kojima, it's an action game with an open world, giving the player a degree of freedom, but it also has strong story elements you expect from a Kojima game. He said that Death Stranding does have an online element, but did not reveal how large that element is. Kojima added that most games basically have people going at each other like aggressors. He pointed out that action games developed as players facing off against a computer, which was followed by players battling online, then playing together in co-op against the computer, but still battling. Death Stranding will have action and combative elements, Kojima promised, but he wants the game to create link strands, if you will, between players instead of having them just trying to knock each other down. Quote, I am aiming for a new type of action, end quote, Kojima said. Quote, with Death Stranding, I'd like to offer the next step, the future in gaming. This sounds like it could be the biggest departure yet, having players face off is long-standing game mechanic, so not relying only on that formula could make for an interesting experience, but one that's risky for him as a game creator.
Well, okay, so this is again another game that I haven't paying crazy close attention to, but the most interesting thing that I've seen is that they modeled, I guess, the main character after the guy from Walking Dead, or it's actually him.
That's the trailer had him. The crazy thing is, I don't know if you followed this. Originally, they released a game, or the PT game that randomly dropped, the scary short game called PT.
Okay, yeah.
On PS4, and within hours, apparently, if you did a certain combination, follow the clues. Hideo Kojima released it, or Konami did, and if you followed a certain way, it got a secret ending or secret trailer to Silent Hills, like a remastered. So Hideo Kojima was going to make another Silent Hills with what's the director? Guillermo del Toro, and Normus Reedus was the main character. So
that's right. That's his name.
It's kind of funny that now Normus Reedus is now in his next game since he's separated from Konami and all that shit that happened. But it's exciting. They have an office and they now have a game engine. I'm excited because I never, unfortunately, got into Metal Gear Solid. I just feel like there was too many characters. I couldn't get into it. Once it went down the line, I was like, well, I can't hop in. And now that he's making a new game, I'll be able to hop in and hopefully like it.
I can't agree. I can't agree more with that. The Metal Gear Solid series is for me, I feel like my biggest missed opportunity as a kid. I was so young at the time, so I feel like getting into those games would have required me to buy 15 different consoles to do so, because it goes so far back. But yeah, it's a shame. I always wanted to play that game. I had the second one, didn't understand a damn thing going on. But yeah.
Now this is the time when you actually should release a collection of all those games on the upcoming console, so people can understand what the fuck is happening. Because apparently it's so convoluted with all these stories hopping in. I feel like you would just miss out and you have no idea what's happening. But apparently Metal Gear Solid 5 is pretty solid for gameplay-wise, and it doesn't have much story connecting to the previous ones. I never hopped into it. I wish maybe I will in the future when, there's a price drop or a sale going on for it, which I'm sure there will be eventually, and I'll hop in and see. But, Random question for you, Gary. The segment each week where I ask you a random question that just pops on the top of my head. What is your guilty pleasure game? What is out of all your years, what has been your most guilty pleasure game?
Wow. Jesus. That's a really tough one. Wow.
You want me to say mine first so you have
yeah, definitely.
I need time. Mine, I couldn't think right off the top of my head, which is kind of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, what is that?
But guilty pleasure, I think of it as you always feel guilty, obviously, for when you're playing it, but you enjoy it so much you don't give a shit. World of Warcraft was my guilty pleasure game.
Oh, you just took Yep. I know it now.
Because I know where you're going. Because I felt so guilty being in a room for that long playing a game like that, but I loved it so much. I don't know why. It was so addicting, leveling up your character, having a huge, expansive world. In that specific world, fantasy world, I just loved it so much. I don't know. I played it for hours some days. I was excited sometimes. It's kind of sad to say when it was bad weather out, so I can stay inside and play that frickin' game on my computer. It was fantastic. But, again, if somebody asked, what you're playing, I would be so sort of nervous and, embarrassed to just say, World of Warcraft?
So, it's kind of a tie. So I have RuneScape, or, as embarrassing as this may be, I was 12 at the time, Club Penguin. Now,
Club Penguin!
Those games, I'll tell you what, I there's some part of me sometimes it's like, man, I wish I can go back to those days where I did absolutely nothing and play those games, because anymore now I don't really feel like when I play games now I don't really feel like actually talking to anybody while playing, unless it's my friends that I know personally. But back then, man, like Club Penguin, I met people I have no idea who the hell they are. We became friends for like months on end, did shit together. It was honestly crazy. Yeah, either or, Club Penguin or RuneScape. It was kind of I kind of did the same thing. It was like socialize, and obviously, like you were saying, with WoW, it was kind of addicting. Like, leveling up. Or I know in Club Penguin, I used to love getting stuff from my igloo. I would have the craziest igloo, big screen TVs, sofas, lights, you name it, man. Crazy parties there. Can't beat me, man. I had a movie theater one time in that bitch. It was crazy.
Damn, you high roller.
Oh, yeah, man.
You saying Club Penguin reminded me of a guilty pleasure that I also played besides WoW. It's called Habbo Hotel.
Yeah.
Have you ever played that game?
That was the knockoff. Yeah, not really the knockoff, but
Habbo
I remember
Hotel
you
was
telling.
first, thank you very much. But I remember playing it back when I was younger, back when I was like in 6th grade, and meeting people and getting a job throughout it, and I would be like a security guard, or I become like a wrestler in it, which made no sense. It was so dumb, but yet so great. And you have these stupid little like relationships with girls in there that you don't even know if they're a girl, because it could be a guy dressed up like had a character that's a girl. Who freaking knows? But it was great. It was great chatting with people. Felt like a real connection back in those days. Back in Habbo Hotel, connection with the people online over messaging. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I need like a time machine to go back to simpler times. Like all the things that we do in those games, we hate now. Like get jobs. Who wants to get a job?
Yeah,
I don't want to get a job.
But it was so much fun. Like I remember in Habbo Hotel, I would be like a wrestler, and you would just go around. You're just walking in blocks in like a little ring, and you would say what you're doing, and you're trying to pin somebody as quick as possible, like saying pin 1, 2, 3 before they type kick out. It was so weird, but it was so great. Go.
I was going to say, this next topic we have here
Damn
to qualify as a guilty pleasure.
Damn it!
I stole your thunder.
All right, you fucking bastard. Mike Fay at Kotaku writes, the gleeful, stupid alien invasion continues in Earth Defense Force 5. I know this hits home for you, Gary. Will the Earth ever be free of giant insect aliens menace of the purposeful schlock Earth Defense Force series? God, I hope not. D3 Publisher just made Earth Defense Force 5 for PlayStation 4 official. It has a giant frog soldier in it. That's all you really need to know. A guilty pleasure to those who play it, and an ugly mess to those who don't. The Earth Defense Force series started life as a throwaway budget title for the Japanese PlayStation 2, and well, I was going to say grew up into something much better, but not really. Over the course of multiple games spanning multiple hardware generation, it's pretty much stayed the same. The animations are horrible, the voice acting is weird, and the gunplay is sloppy, but somehow it all comes together into a perfect B- movie game experience, or B-movie gaming experience. How excited are you for Earth Defense Force 5, Gary?
Well, granted, I haven't played the game. I think it was Earth Defense Force 2017 or 2077. I'm not entirely sure.
I think it was 2077.
But that game, man, I'll tell you what, I bought that game, and it's mindless fun. It's amazing. Like, you just run around, you just gun everything down in front of you. You get crazy weapons. I had like a rocket launcher that was basically a nuke launcher. It was amazing. I could take out all the buildings I wanted to.
Oh, it was 2017. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, next year will be the year that I live out my Earth Defense Force fantasy, I guess.
Those horrible-looking bugs.
Yeah, the ants. Yeah, those ants were fierce. But I love the in this Earth Defense Force 5, I love the frog lizard guy in that one picture in that website. It's hysterical. That's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
This is
more enemies.
This is the definition of just guilty pleasure for sure.
Fun as hell. Game is great
for sure. You were mentioning before we started there were some crazy comments. Was it this section you said there were funny comments? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I am not entirely sure. Dude, anyway, anytime you get involved in the comments section and anything, it's amazing. But this game in particular, it's just priceless. I recommend someone go out there and find it if they can.
Guilty. I'm sure you can find it for $1 somewhere, or on PC.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's really cheap.
Or through Google search. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think you were talking about something else. My bad.
Google search. Yeah, I guess.
The comment section, I meant.
Oh, gotcha. But you probably can find the game for $1 somewhere. All right, Gary, we're on to your topics, ones that I'm not going to read, so I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is all on Gary's shoulders. The first one that it's typed right here is called The Future of Star Wars Games. What does that entail, Gary?
All right, so as you all know, I am a huge fan of the KOTOR series. But anyway, I think that it's been a long time since there's really been any really noteworthy Star Wars game. Obviously, Battlefront came out, and that game is what it is. It's kind of light on the content, and it's kind of just straight up kind of bland multiplayer. But I've really been looking forward to a new Star Wars RPG or adventure game. And I think that there's a lot of untapped possibilities there, like a lot of, for example, KOTOR 3, kind of want that game to come out. Been dying for it.
Well, you had the Old Republic. Why do you need KOTOR 3?
Because it needs to be wrapped up. That series needs to be completed properly. But anyway, so luckily on the EA website, they have basically some news bullet points, I guess you could call them. And they were basically talking about how Visceral, I guess one of their companies, is going to be coming out with a Star Wars game in, I guess, 2018. That's what it was dated. But basically, it's they're saying that it's going to have an original story. It's going to be quote unquote groundbreaking. I hope. The only gripe I have, honestly, I mean, I watched the trailer and everything, and the trailer looks kind of amazing. At least the 5 seconds that it was shown. But the only gripe I have is that it kind of still exists within the Empire time period. I don't know. I feel like they should go in different directions, which kind of leads me to my next point.
But before you go, did you know that the Amy Hennig, I think that's her name, is developing or writing this game? She was originally one of the writers for Uncharted 2.
Yes, sir. Yep, I knew I recognized that name. Yeah, I hope it goes well, because regardless of the time periods, and if it's a good game, I'll undoubtedly enjoy it. But on to my next point, there's a bullet point on there that says Beyond, and basically they're talking about the games that they're going to be releasing, I guess, in the next 5 years or so, maybe beyond that. But they're talking about a third-person adventure or action game that's going to be coming out. And basically it's going to feature different gameplay and a different story timeline, which I'm kind of excited about. I know one of the things that I really appreciated about the KOTOR series is that it kind of took place outside of the movies entirely. It took place 5,000 years before the movies. So you had a totally different universe to explore, different characters to meet, and the lore really fascinated me when I was younger, and even still does today. Learning about the different planets, learning about the different characters. It was all just such a deep universe, and I really wish they would explore that more today, especially given the technology we have available. But yeah,
that's exciting. It kind of made me think of the game that was canceled, Star Wars 1313, which originally had a lot of. I was excited for it because it felt different. It felt specifically just a bounty hunter on I forget what was the planet. What was the planet? Mos Eisley? I think that's what it was.
Well, I mean Tatooine.
Could have been. No, Tatooine is.
Well, Mos Eisley's on Tatooine.
Not Mos Eisley then. You know more than me, but Coruscant, the underground scum of civilization.
Yeah,
Coruscant, which he's supposed to be like a bounty hunter going around, I think, which looked great.
Well, that's one of the things too. Is I really wish, especially the movies too, but the games in particular, I wish would go in more of a mature direction. That's actually kind of the reason why I liked KOTOR 2 more than I liked the original, is because it was more of a mature, darker story. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a huge fan of that sort of thing. So,
fucking that twist when the fucking old spoilers if you've never played KOTOR 2, the Freya. Old lady Kreia turns on you and becomes an evil Sith Lord, and then you get to fight her. Oh, I remember in that game, the only way I could freaking beat her is I had to exploit a stupid glitch in the game where I would be able to do flurry, the flurry attack with my lightsaber, and then also somehow heal myself at the same time. It was great.
Yeah, those games. Oh my god, I would give anything to wipe my memory and play through those games again because they were that good.
Yeah,
But
that's another topic for another situation. Games you would just like to just have no recollection of, and just go back into it so you can experience it all again. You know, a bunch of Mario games come to mind. Halo. I want to say Halo 2, but that story was balls. I would say
I wouldn't say it was terrible. The ending was
the
awful.
cliffhanger was pretty awful. Halo 1, then I would like to go in without anything, or Gears of War, for instance. I always love that story. Fascinating. I remember going back and playing Gears of War, where they did I can't think of the not definitive edition, but they re-released it, kind of updated it for Xbox One. And I remember playing it again, and the game just felt so good. It felt so gritty, and it had a scary vibe to it, which is why I'm excited for Gears 4. But it just had like a creepiness vibe, survival vibe to it that you didn't get more in the second or third. Second or third felt more actiony per se. And that's a game you need to. And that's one game you missed out on, didn't you, G?
Yeah. I mean, it's because I didn't have online at the time, so it was kind of a tough thing for me.
He didn't hop on the bandwagon, folks. He was too late. And now,
I didn't have money.
Now,
I didn't have money at the time to
now
buy.
all he plays is Destiny. He's hooked on it, folks, and he just shoots himself up with Destiny serum every single day. He's hooked.
And episode, because coincidentally, that's our next topic, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like I have the topic right in front of me.
Yeah. So, all right. So Destiny, it's been a kind of an interesting week. Basically, private matches have arrived early, and the MLG event featuring a lot of streamers such as Real Crafty, True Vanguard, Luminosity took place a couple days ago. The winner really didn't matter. The real purpose of the whole thing was to show that Destiny is going to be moving forward into a more competitive PvP experience.
Which was shocking to me because I thought it did have a competitive experience, but that's what little I knew. I didn't know why it didn't have one, but it seems insane that now they're adding private matches after all this time.
That's the thing. It's the private matches were really the big deal, because without private matches, you had an inability to create tournaments, create events, and really be able to coordinate who you're facing. So it was never really going to be a real event without private matches. But now we have them, and I think that it really is going to open the door for Destiny to be a true competitive experience, possibly, going to be Major League Gaming in the future. So it should be interesting to see how that develops.
Man, I remember doing that in Call of Duty 4 on the Xbox 360 with a few of my friends. It was me, my friend Nick Russo, and a few other people that would come on. We do 3v3 matches, set up private matches, and then go online and record the stats. And we actually did pretty well, because I was the shit at that game. I crushed it. That's why I was I really wish if it was me, you, and there was somebody else that we knew that was really good. One of your friends.
One of my friends?
Was it one of your friends? It could have been one of mine. It would have been anyone that are just solid. We could have just ran roughshod over people. But
yeah,
I don't know if I would ever want to be that good, because I remember seeing an actual event of people playing Modern Warfare, and the kids would just yell at each other, calling each other stupid middle school names. Like, I don't want to fucking listen to that bullshit. That's why I mute everybody and don't talk to my friends when I play.
Not to mention they were sweating profusely and needed like a load of towels next to them to dry themselves off, probably. But I don't want to bash gamers. I cannot do that.
Because we are them, Gary. We are them.
Sir.
Even though they're all fucking nerds. Am I right?
We all are, in a way.
Yeah. Not wrong to be a nerd. All right. Well, that's the end of our topics. Gary, what are you going to be doing this weekend? What are you up to? What games are you going to be playing? What are you doing?
Well,
tell me your life story.
I hate to disappoint people in the mood for a surprise, but Destiny probably will be played this weekend. It's
Shocker.
been a gaming drought. Like I said before. So, actually, no. NHL 17. I'm getting that tomorrow as well. So, I'll be playing.
Miracles can happen, folks. He's not playing Destiny.
I'll be playing a mix of both. So, maybe look out for maybe a game review in the future of NHL 17.
I was interested in getting it. Maybe I'll get it so we can do the review. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. See, he's still an unconsiderate bastard already. He still hasn't asked me what I'm doing. Look at him.
What are you playing this weekend, Adam?
Come on, Gary. It's like how a normal conversation. I ask you one thing, you reciprocate and ask me, what am I doing?
I get off on a tangent, and I cannot remember where I came from. So you continue onward next time.
It's okay. It happens to me all the time. Well, this weekend, exciting enough, I'm going to be watching one of my Muay Thai or boxing coaches go fight in D.C., so that's exciting. And I may be playing some more Oceanhorn, maybe some Hotline Miami. I'll try to get around to playing them. I don't know. Sometimes my weekends are a little packed, just because working and all, you don't really have the weekdays to do anything, so I try to do things during the weekend. But it should be an exciting week. I'm excited. Oh, I think I'm supposed to go on a double date with my friend, or my girlfriend and one of her friends, sort of friends that she met. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Never been on a double date, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know what I'll do.
Sounds like a wild time.
Maybe we'll go pick apples or some shit. I don't know.
God. I wish I didn't hear that.
You didn't? What's wrong with picking apples? Apples are delicious.
It wasn't the picking apples part. It was the way you said it. Yeah, it was the way you said it.
Picking apples. We're picking apples. But dude, you ever have homemade apple cider? I know we're going off on a tangent. I'm gonna bring it back around. Don't worry, folks. But homemade apple cider, I just have to point out, is the bomb. Get a slow cooker, just look for a recipe, make apple cider. It's fucking fantastic. All right, thanks again, everyone, for listening to episode 4 of Two Jersey Kids, where I, Adam Buckingham, sit down with my very best friend, Gary Seisel, of 10 years. We grew up together in Jersey, played video games. That's what brought us together. So thank you again for listening. Remember, please subscribe to the podcast if you like what you hear. If you don't like what you hear, well, please subscribe anyway or give us feedback at you can tweet us at 2JerseyKids on Twitter and let us know what do you think we could improve on. I always like feedback. We're not perfect, obviously. So I want to know what can we do to make more people stay and listen to us. That's what we want. We want to hear your feedback, don't we, G?
Absolutely.
It's important to us. Well, thank you again. We love you all. G apparently had something to say. He looked excited. What do you want to say?
I was just going to say adios, everybody. Love you all.
Peace out, homies. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Gary and Adam have left the building.